Hello, I'm Suzan Negm, and it's my pleasure to be presenting for the ninth International Scientific Conference held by the Academy of Arts. My presentation titled The Global Impact of Social Variables on the Literary Representation of Heroines. Main objectives for this presentation. Number one, identify prominent social and cultural variables from the 1960s to early 2000s. Objective two, link social shifts to changes in the child's literary image across selected works. Objective three, trace the evolution from dreamy stereotypes to heroines aware of contemporary challenges. Start our journey by exploring the literature review highlights as they are the basis for our presentation. So actually there have been four main works that explored somehow similar topic, but we have some differences. Let's start with Al-Jamal 2015, which explored gender roles in Jordanian and French children's literature. But the difference here in our presentation is that we specifically focus on the girl as a protagonist, not as any other role. The second work was by Alatruzi, 2018, and it showed a shift from Snow White, Frozen. Current study investigates broader social, cultural, and political causes in global literature as we are exploring selected works from Sweden, from Britain, and from Egypt. The third study, Al-Matkan 2022, and it's about stereotyping as psychological terrorism using Grimm Brothers' works, which included stories like Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, and what we can call damsel in distress or dreamy princess. But the current study focuses on positive evolution of the female protagonist. We show how this evolution brought up a mature character that has self-independence and awareness of the surroundings and the community. The last one was Brown 2024, and it was focused on feminism's impact on children's story. And this is somehow different from this study in the time frame and the focus of the girl protagonist or the heroine, because in our study we explore how these works are a mirror of societal shifts. So literature as a mirror of society, and actually not only as a mirror, as a factor of influence on society. So it's kind of a mutual influence relationship. So whereas children literature is a powerful tool for shaping minds and to inspire future generations who will be leading any country, it's not serving only as an entertainment or even for education. It has a deeper role. It's a fertile ground for studying how social change shapes the representation of child and how the representation of child in literary works may affect the growth of children. So it's not one way, it's double way. Social change, as defined by Nico and Wilterding, is any change in social relations rooted in human adaptability, technology, and cultural contact. And this is actually meaningful because it has been many years since technology started affecting our lives, and it still does. So when we are exploring the period of 1945 till the thousands, which brought radical transformations, uh, things like the shifting rules in family structures from fathers to mothers who were only inside home, but after World Wars they have other rules outside home, working in factories to cover up for the absence of men in war. We have also a change in culture as we have like a bigger tendency and a stronger tendency towards consumer culture. The third part, and it started from this time, but we still have it, is the big number of riot movements for many groups of people, such as women, children, ethnic groups. Sometimes it's about gender, sometimes it's about political belief, sometimes it's about rights for immigrants. So we have many groups that fought for their rights, and all of this formed a huge influence and a big variable factor that affected children representation. So we have in the past or before this time what we call the pre-1945, the classic heroines, the dreamy princess, the damsel in distress, characters like Snow White, Cinderella, Rapunzel. They all represented icons of beauty, and they have been all the time described as a dreamy princess or the dreamy girl who dreams of love, who thinks of the Prince Charming who will be coming to rescue her. So sometimes it goes to the level of passivity, um, accompanied by fantasy to add a sense of interest for children. So this heroine was not actually playing an active role in her life or an active role to solve problems. All the time she's waiting for someone else. Either it is the man of in her dreams, future husband, magical powers. But when we moved to a post-World War, especially after two World Wars, we have a big shift that redefined women's social rules. They came out of their houses, and instead of being only housewives, they have many other rules in hospitals, factories, even in war. So children literature began reflecting models that stepped outside traditional frames. So we have the girls um, who are described with a different type of beauty and according to different standards. And then we have another stage of evolution, the modern or the contemporary heroines, who started to show a different level of intellectual strength, of agency for many things, maybe environment, maybe for morals and values, and a higher awareness that maybe replaced the passivity. And writers, or some of the writers we are exploring, they added, instead of physical perfection, they added sometimes the features of physical strength that was usually a feature only for males. So these defining traits of the girl protagonist changed from the dreamy princess to the empowered heroine. So the first work we are exploring here today is Baby Longstocking. And although it was published first in 1945, it was in the Swedish language, and this made the story not very well known. So in the 1950s, it became as translated in English, it became widely known, famous, and very popular. And of course, it was written by Astrid Lindgren. So looking at the picture here, which was the cover of the book, we see a different girl, either in clothing, hair styling, hair color, the surroundings. So if we compare her to Cinderella, it's totally different. Baby is the antithesis of the dreamy heroine, with all these unconventional clothes. And actually, inside the novel, she showed strength physically, that she was able to carry heavy things, and she was able to do rules like rescuing trapped boys in a burning attic, and facing challenges like authority with humor and wisdom. So she embodied a new type of a girl that can face a world full of challenges and requires girls to use intellect and agency. And actually, self-reliant and the strength can be shown when she mentioned, I'm quoting from her, the whole world is filled with things that are just waiting for someone to come along and find them. Our second example is Hermione Granger, the famous in J.K. Rowling Harry Potter, and we are focusing on the first part published in 1997. So she showed three main features. The first one, academic brilliance and leadership. So we have seen her in many scenes reading in the library. We have seen her preparing supplies and casting protective spells for Harry and Ron to help them do their mission. She is always helping them solving crises. The second point is the emotional intelligence she is showing, which is not a feature of weakness, but it enables her to manage conflicts, support her peers, and she shows moral integrity, warns them against losing their values and morals. So she showed a very vital role in the mission because of her bravery and loyalty to the team. The third feature is resistance to authority. So she does not comply with what we say being treated unfairly. And although she was described as frizzy hair and large front teeth, she boldly contradicts Professor Snape and punches Draco Malfoy, who both were feared by many other students in magic school. So she refused to be victimized by them, and she acted actively towards this. The third, maybe epitome, or the third heroine we have here is from Egypt. So when we talk about Egypt, we go to Yaqub al-Sharuni, and we have Hasna and the royal snake, and another story, Zahra's adventure with the tree. So as we can have here from the cover, we see simple clothes, ordinary appearance, but she tries to survive alone in the desert. She is rescuing animals from flood. So she shows some features, but maybe weaker than those showed in works. The second work, which will be our focus here, was published, Zahra's Adventure with the Tree, in 2012. And Zahra was described as taller than other children who are her age. She leads a human fence of children, as we can see from the cover, to protect the trees from greedy attackers. So she raises community awareness, citing civic rights and taxes, and showing how education is important when she expressed that no one has the right to cut their trees because she learned that it's bought by the money of. So looking at this, we see the evolution of the heroines, classic princess to baby, Hermione, and finally Zahra. From passive beauty to active agent, each heroine reflects the social variables of her era, tracing a global impact and from dependence towards critical awareness and community responsibility. The recommendation here is that trying more to link literature to social reality, combining authors from different stages of children's literature development into a unique and maybe deeper comparative framework. Call to Egyptian writers to promote heroines that may reflect the new challenges and present a realistic image of them, fighting stereotypes. And for future research, we hope to find more research exploring Arab and MENA countries' uh, distinct social changes, either religious or political contexts, and extend analysis to media, film, and theater. Thank you.